Have you ever received a text from a number you didn't recognize, and felt your heart race before you even opened it? That's how it started for me. A single notification. One short message from a stranger. At first, I thought it was nothing, maybe a wrong number, maybe spam. But that tiny buzz in my pocket would end up tearing apart everything I thought I knew about my life. I was living what most people would call a simple, steady life. Married for 3 years. A routine that felt comfortable, maybe even too predictable. Every morning was the same: wake up, make coffee, head to work, come home, repeat. Some would call it peaceful. But sometimes I wondered, was it actually happiness? Or was it just the illusion of stability? Then came the first message. Do you know the truth about him? 7 words that made my stomach twist into knots. I stared at the screen, frozen. My first instinct was to laugh it off. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe they meant to send it to someone else. But deep down, my chest tightened in a way that told me, this wasn't random. This was intentional. I didn't reply. Not right away. Instead, I locked my phone and tried to forget it. But how do you forget something like that? A stranger suggesting there were secrets in your marriage? Secrets about the man you trusted more than anyone else in the world? Every time I looked at my husband that night, I wondered, what truth? What could he possibly be hiding? The next morning, another text arrived. This one was sharper, almost cruel. You deserve to know what he's doing when you're not around. My pulse pounded as I read it over and over again. My fingers hovered above the keyboard. Should I reply? Should I block the number? Or, should I finally admit that a part of me wanted to know? And here's where I'll be honest, I didn't delete the messages. I couldn't. Some part of me needed to see what would come next. Maybe because I wanted proof that my husband was loyal. Or maybe because I was terrified it would prove the opposite. But the real twist? The messages didn't stop. They kept coming, more personal, more precise, more targeted. Whoever was sending them knew things about my life they shouldn't. Things only someone very close to us could possibly know. That's when I realized this wasn't just a prank. This was someone trying to break me. And maybe, someone who wanted me to see a truth I had been too blind to notice. If you want to see how this shocking story ends, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss jaw-dropping confessions like this. Because trust me, the next message I received changed everything. What would you do if a stranger started sending you clues about your own marriage? Would you ignore them, or would you chase the truth, no matter how dangerous it felt? That was the exact battle going on inside me. At first, I tried to play it cool. I told myself, don't overthink. People prank others all the time. But when the third message came through, my heart nearly stopped. It said, check his drawer. The second one from the top. My throat went dry. This wasn't random anymore. This was specific. Whoever this was, they knew where I lived. They knew my husband's things. They knew us. I stood in front of that dresser for a long time, my hands trembling. My mind screamed at me not to do it. What if you find something you can't unsee? What if this ruins everything? But curiosity is a dangerous thing. It eats at you until you give in. When I finally pulled open the second drawer, my stomach dropped. At first, all I saw were folded shirts, neatly stacked, the way he always kept them. But then I noticed a small envelope tucked at the back. My hands shook as I slid it out. Inside were receipts. Dozens of them. Hotels. Restaurants. Bars. Places I had never been with him. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe they were old. Maybe they were from business trips. Maybe there was an explanation. But the dates, they were recent. Too recent. Some of them were from nights he had told me he was working late. My head spun. My chest tightened. I wanted to scream. But instead, I just sat there on the floor, staring at those papers as if they might rearrange themselves into something innocent. And then, as if the universe was watching me unravel, my phone buzzed again. Another text. Still think he's loyal? That one broke me. It wasn't just the receipts or the messages, it was the way this stranger seemed to know exactly what I was doing, almost as if they were watching me in real time. I dropped the phone on the floor, my body shaking. Was someone spying on me? Was I safe in my own home? Or worse, was my husband's betrayal not just emotional, but something far darker than I could imagine? One thing was certain, my marriage was no longer what I thought it was. And the more I read those messages, the more I realized I had only scratched the surface of something much bigger. Have you ever had that moment where reality feels like it's slipping through your fingers? That's where I was, sitting on the floor, surrounded by receipts, phone buzzing with messages from someone who seemed to know my life better than I did. I wanted to run. To throw the phone away. To pretend none of it was happening. But deep down, I knew there was no turning back. Once you start peeling back the layers of a lie, you can't stop until you find the core, even if it destroys you. The next text came only minutes later. You deserve to know everything. Meet me tomorrow at Café Luna, 5 p.m. Come alone. My blood ran cold. This wasn't random anymore. This was direct. A meeting. A place. A time. Whoever this was, they wanted me to come face to face. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. 1,000 questions screamed inside me. Was this person trying to help me? Or lure me into something dangerous? Was it a friend trying to warn me, or someone playing a twisted game? Sleep was impossible that night. I lay in bed beside my husband, staring at the ceiling, every sound amplified in the silence. His steady breathing made me ache. How could he sleep so peacefully while my entire world was collapsing right beside him? I wanted to shake him awake, to demand answers. But the fear of his reaction pinned me down. What if he wasn't just cheating? What if this went deeper, into secrets I wasn't ready to face? By morning, my decision was clear. I needed to go to that cafe. But I couldn't shake the dread clinging to my chest. What if this meeting wasn't about answers, but about something else entirely? When the clock struck 5, I walked into Café Luna, my palms slick with sweat. The place smelled of coffee and baked bread. But it felt like a trap. Every face I saw, I studied. Was it them? Were they watching me? And then, at the corner table by the window, I spotted a figure. A woman, maybe mid-30s, with her hands wrapped tightly around a coffee cup, staring directly at me as if she had been waiting. My stomach turned. She knew me. That much was clear from the look in her eyes. But I had never seen her before in my life. And just as I took a step toward her, my phone buzzed again. A new message lit up the screen, "Be careful. She's not who she says she is." My heart nearly stopped. What if the person you thought was your friend was hiding more than just a secret? That's exactly what I began to suspect the moment I sat down at the corner table in Café Luna. The woman's eyes were sharp, almost accusing. And she didn't smile. Not even a little. I forced myself to take a breath. "Hi. I'm here about the messages," I said, trying to sound calm. My voice trembled anyway. She nodded slightly and leaned in, lowering her voice. "You have no idea what you're getting yourself into." A chill ran down my spine. Her tone, her words, they weren't just warnings. They carried urgency. Panic. Fear. What do you mean? I asked, my hands gripping my coffee cup until my knuckles turned white. She glanced around the cafe, like someone might be watching. Then she whispered, "He's not who you think he is. And neither am I. But if you want to survive this, you need to hear everything. Not here, not now." I blinked. My stomach dropped. What was she saying? Was she a friend? An enemy? Someone manipulating me for reasons I couldn't yet understand? And just when I thought I might push for answers, my phone buzzed. Another message from the unknown number. Trust no one completely. Not even her. I froze. My chest tightened. I had trusted my husband for years. And now, even this stranger, who was supposedly trying to help, might be hiding something too. The woman leaned closer again, her voice barely a whisper. "If you follow him tomorrow, you might see what he's really capable of. But you must go alone. Do not tell anyone. Especially him." I felt my hands shake. Alone. Go alone. Every instinct screamed at me to say no, to run, to hide. But another part of me, the part that had been haunted by these messages, the part that couldn't ignore the truth any longer, whispered, "I have to know." I nodded slowly, forcing myself to breathe. "Okay. I'll do it." Her eyes softened for a brief moment. And then she said something that sent a shiver through me. "Tomorrow changes everything. Don't be late. And don't look back." I left the cafe, my mind a storm of fear, confusion, and anticipation. The streets felt different somehow, darker, more alive. Every shadow seemed like it was watching me. And deep down, I knew nothing would ever be the same after tomorrow. As I walked toward my car, my phone buzzed again. Another message, short and chilling: "Make the right choice, or regret it forever." I felt my blood run cold. The clock was ticking. And the world I thought I knew was slipping away. By the time I got home that evening, my head was spinning. Every street corner, every passerby, felt like it could be part of the trap I was being drawn into. I barely noticed him sitting on the sofa, scrolling through his phone, the casual smile on his face now feeling like a mask I couldn't penetrate. I forced a laugh, tried to make conversation. But every word felt hollow. Inside, my thoughts raced. Could he really be hiding something so carefully that no one would ever suspect? Could all these messages and strange encounters truly be about him, or was it a bigger game I couldn't yet see? I retreated to our bedroom, just to think. My best friend's words, the unknown number's warnings, the cafe encounter, they swirled in my mind, each detail a piece of a puzzle I couldn't assemble. And then, as I scrolled through the messages again, my phone buzzed one more time. "He's closer than you think. Watch your back." I felt my chest tighten. My hands were shaking as I realized the gravity of the situation. It wasn't just curiosity anymore. This was survival. Someone, somewhere, was orchestrating my life in ways I hadn't imagined. And my husband, the man I thought I knew, was at the center of it, or maybe not. I tried to recall every little discrepancy over the past few weeks. Small lies, little evasions I'd dismissed. Nights he claimed to be late at work, sudden phone calls he answered in hushed tones, faint smells that weren't familiar, none of it made sense until now. Could it really all be connected? And then, I remembered the storage unit. The one I had joked about renting for extra space. What if someone had used it to keep tabs on me? My heart pounded at the thought. I shook my head, trying to dismiss it. But fear was clawing at my mind. I needed to act. But what could I do? Confront him and risk anger? Or follow the mysterious instructions of someone I didn't even know? I felt trapped in my own life, the walls closing in with every passing second. That's when I realized, I could no longer see anyone as safe. Not my husband, not my best friend, not even strangers. Every interaction carried weight, every glance had meaning. And the unknown number was always one step ahead, pushing me toward a truth I wasn't ready to face. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and made a decision. Tomorrow, I would follow the instructions. I would meet the unknown number. And finally, I would uncover what had been hidden from me for so long. But as I drifted into a restless sleep, my phone buzzed one last time for the night. A final warning, or maybe a promise: tomorrow, nothing will be the same. My stomach turned. I had no idea how right they were. The next morning, I felt a mix of dread and determination. I couldn't ignore the pull of the unknown number's instructions anymore. Every instinct screamed at me to stay home, lock the doors, and pretend none of this existed. But curiosity, and maybe a desperate need for answers, won. The storage unit was quieter than I expected. Rows of metal doors stretched endlessly, shadows forming strange patterns under the dim fluorescent lights. My heart hammered in my chest as I pulled out the small slip of paper with the unit number the stranger had sent. Unit 17. I gripped the handle, noticing it was slightly ajar. My fingers trembled as I pushed the door open. Inside, the air was stale, dusty. The faint scent of old paper and metal hit me. And I froze. Boxes. Everywhere. Neatly stacked, labeled in meticulous handwriting. My hands shook as I lifted the top box of one stack. Inside were photographs, hundreds of them, of me. At home. At work. Walking through streets I had walked 1,000 times. Even sleeping. Every intimate, mundane, private moment of my life catalogued in a stranger's system. I swallowed hard. My chest felt tight. Someone had been watching me for months. My mind raced. Who could have done this? And why? Before I could process further, a faint sound behind me made me jump. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. I spun around, my phone held like a weapon, flashlight piercing the shadows. And there he was. My husband. Calm. Smiling. But there was something in his eyes, a cold calculation I hadn't seen before. Surprised? His voice was soft, almost casual. But it carried a weight that froze me in place. I couldn't speak. My hands were shaking. My mind reeled. You knew about this? He stepped closer. Of course. I've known everything for a while. But I needed to see if you would find the truth on your own. The words hit me like a punch. I felt betrayed, cornered, and utterly exposed. All of this, for what? He smiled faintly. To show you who's really in control. And to see who you really are when you think no one's watching. A chill ran down my spine. My phone buzzed again, the unknown number. Look closely. Not everyone is who they seem. I realized, then, that I was caught in a web far bigger than just my husband. Someone, or maybe several people, had been orchestrating my life from the shadows. And now, every step I took was being watched. I swallowed, forcing myself to breathe. I couldn't freeze. I had to act, think, survive. And deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But my feet felt rooted to the floor. My husband's calm, almost smug demeanor was unsettling. The way he watched me, like he already knew what I was thinking, made my skin crawl. I realized then that this confrontation wasn't just about betrayal, it was a test. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number: don't trust him fully. Not yet. I glanced at him, trying to read any hint of what he might do next. His eyes flicked to the stacks of photographs and documents. Then back to me. "You're scared," he said softly. "And that's good. You should be." Fear tightened its grip on my chest. This wasn't the man I had married, or maybe it was, just hidden under layers I had never seen before. "Why are you doing this?" I demanded, my voice trembling. "What is all of this supposed to prove?" He leaned back, folding his arms, calm and collected. "It's not about proving anything. It's about revealing. About seeing if you can handle the truth. Can you?" I wanted to scream, to run, to throw the phone across the room, but I couldn't. I had come too far to turn back now. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. "She knows more than you think. Watch her carefully." I froze. The woman from the cafe? The one I had been told to trust only partially? Suddenly, the pieces began to fit together in a terrifying way. My husband wasn't the only player here. Someone else, someone I had just met, was involved in this dangerous game. And they were pulling strings I didn't yet understand. I had to make a choice. Confront him. Or follow the breadcrumbs laid out for me. One part of me screamed to flee. Another part, the part that had already been pulled into this web, knew there was no escaping until I uncovered the truth. I gritted my teeth and took a step forward. "Okay," I said, voice low but firm. "Show me what I need to see." He smirked faintly. "Good. But remember, every move you make, every decision, will matter. One wrong step, and it won't just be your heart that breaks." The room felt colder, darker. The shadows seemed to stretch toward me. And deep down, I realized this was bigger than just my marriage. It was a web of secrets, lies, and dangers I had no idea I was walking into. And just as I braced myself for what came next, my phone buzzed one more time. "Time is running out. Choose wisely." The next day, I found myself at Café Luna again, heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. I couldn't ignore the unknown number's instructions. Every instinct screamed danger. But I knew I had to follow the trail if I wanted answers. The woman from the cafe was already there, sitting at the same corner table. Her posture was tense, her hands clutching the coffee cup as if it were a lifeline. She looked up as I approached. And for a brief moment, her eyes softened, but only for a second. "You came," she said quietly. "Good. We don't have much time." I sat down, my hands trembling. "I need to know the truth. Who are you? What's happening?" She glanced around nervously, lowering her voice. "I'm here to help you. But I can't tell you everything. Not yet. You have to see some things for yourself. But know this, he is not the man you think he is. And the one you trust most may be hiding more than you realize." Her words pierced me like ice. My chest tightened. And my mind raced. Could it really be true? Could my husband and even my best friend be part of this twisted game? Before I could ask another question, my phone buzzed with a new message from the unknown number. "Watch her closely. Not everything is as it seems." My stomach dropped. The woman I had been cautiously trusting, was she also part of the mystery? Could I trust anyone at all? She leaned in closer, whispering, "Tomorrow, follow him. Watch everything he does. But go alone. No one can protect you. And you must be careful. This will show you the truth. Alone." The word echoed in my mind, heavy and chilling. Every part of me wanted to run. But I couldn't. I had already gone too far. The answers I was seeking, no matter how terrifying, were just one day away. I nodded, my pulse racing. "Okay. I'll do it. I'll follow him tomorrow." She gave me a quick, sharp look. Remember, every move matters. One wrong step, and you may not get a second chance. As I left the cafe, the streets felt darker, more alive. Every shadow, every passerby seemed to watch me. And then my phone buzzed again, a final chilling message for the day: be ready. Everything changes tomorrow. I felt the weight of it in my chest. Whatever awaited me, I knew my life would never be the same. The next evening, my nerves were frayed to the breaking point. I had spent the day replaying every message, every warning, every clue. Every street felt heavier, every shadow suspicious. Time was moving too slowly, yet too fast, every second dragging me closer to a truth I wasn't sure I was ready for. I glanced at my phone. Another message had come through: follow him. Watch carefully. Don't make a sound. The instructions were clear. My heart pounded. But I knew I couldn't hesitate. The unknown number had led me this far, there was no turning back. I left the apartment quietly, slipping into the night. The streets were eerily empty, as though the city itself was holding its breath. My husband's car came into view, parked a block away. I followed at a safe distance, keeping to the shadows, my eyes locked on him. Every step felt like walking a tightrope, every breath a risk of discovery. Then, he turned into a side street I didn't recognize, heading toward an industrial area. My stomach twisted. This wasn't the route home. What was he doing here? My phone buzzed again: you'll see soon. Watch everything. Trust your instincts. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay calm. I couldn't panic. I had to observe, to learn, to understand. And then I saw it, a familiar figure standing by a chain-link gate. The woman from the cafe, her posture tense, scanning the area. She was waiting for him. Or maybe waiting for me. As I crouched behind a dumpster, trying to make sense of what I was witnessing, my phone buzzed one last time: he is not alone. Be ready for the truth. I swallowed hard, my pulse racing. Every instinct screamed danger. I knew the moment of revelation was close, closer than I had imagined. And deep down, I realized that nothing, not even the life I thought I had, could prepare me for what I was about to see. The industrial street was silent, almost too quiet. And in that silence, I felt the weight of every secret closing in on me. Tomorrow, everything would change. The following evening, I braced myself as I followed the unknown number's instructions one last time. My hands trembled, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. I had come too far to turn back. But the fear of what awaited me made every step feel heavier. The industrial street was empty, shadows stretching long under flickering streetlights. My husband stood near the chain-link gate, waiting, his expression unreadable. The woman from the cafe was there too, her eyes sharp, tense. And then it happened, the final message buzzed through my phone: look closely. The truth is closer than you think. I stepped forward, forcing myself to stay calm. And then I saw it, a small device in my husband's hand, recording. The realization hit me like ice. This wasn't just about secrets. This was surveillance. Every move, every decision I had made, had been tracked. And the unknown number? It wasn't a stranger at all. The woman leaned in, whispering, he's been protecting you, from someone bigger. But you needed to know the truth. My mind reeled. Protecting me? All of this, the messages, the warnings, the fear, was it for my safety? I looked at my husband, searching for answers in his calm, collected eyes. And then he showed me the proof, a folder containing documents, photos, and videos revealing a dangerous plot not just against me, and against several people we knew. Shock, relief, and betrayal swirled inside me all at once. The unknown number had been guiding me to the truth, preparing me to see it, step by step. And my husband, he had been caught in it too, forced to act carefully to shield me. I took a deep breath, shaking, trying to process everything. The web of deceit, the surveillance, the warnings, it had all been a way to prepare me. To protect me. And now, standing there in the cold night, I realized the enormity of it all. The woman from the cafe gave me one last look. Your choices from here on, they matter more than ever. I nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over me. I knew I couldn't undo the past. But I could control my next steps. And in that moment, I chose clarity, courage, and truth. If this story shocked you, hit subscribe and join us for more jaw-dropping confessions. Because sometimes, the people you trust most are also the ones fighting battles you'll never see, until it's almost too late.